This next training video will tell you how to access and how to use Microsoft Sharepoint. You will use this daily for accessing materials that you need to teach. We will also show you the teacher resources folder and what you can access there. In order to access Sharepoint, you need an Apax email address. Now this will be given to you at the end of your training week or very soon after. Once you have logged into your emails, for example here, you can access Sharepoint by clicking on these 9 dots in the top corner and simply clicking on Sharepoint. You can also click here to open this in a new tab. Once opened, the new tab will look something like this. You can search in the search bar for anything you want to be a part of within Sharepoint or anything you need. Now every center has an individual Sharepoint. So for example, this one is the Fancy Long Center. And if I was a teacher there, I would be added to their Sharepoint. In order to make sure this is always on my Sharepoint page, I can click follow here on the star. Within this folder, you can expect to find things such as your schedule, access to trial reports, and many other things. Most center Sharepoints will contain a folder saying teachers. You would click on this to gain access to anything that you need. You can see here the schedule, trial reports, book comments, etc. When you need to access one of these things, your head teacher will show you how. One thing I would suggest with this page, your home Sharepoint page, is to click on favorites and add it to favorites. This way, every day you log on to your Internet Explorer, you can simply click on favorites and easily find the link into Sharepoint, making the process much quicker. So Sharepoint will mainly be used for you to access all of the materials you need to use in a PDF form or to print for class. We have 6 books in every 9-month term in Apax: A1, A2, A3, B1, B2 and B3. Every time we change book, you will receive an email which looks like this, giving you access to the materials for the new term. Now it's easy to find this every day. In your email inbox, just simply go to search, type in B2 or the relevant book, and it will find the email for you so you can easily click on it. Once you click on it, it will take you to the materials needed for that term for all levels. Again, I would recommend that you save this page as a favorite. Therefore, every day when you come on to your classroom computer, you can just simply click favorites and you have the link right there, thus meaning you will not need to go into your emails to find it. So here we can see a list of all of our levels, Seedbed 1, Seedbed 2, and so on and so forth, up until Junior Master. So to establish what you are teaching on a particular day, you will look at your schedule. Now perhaps that says you are teaching Block 5 and you are teaching Seedbed 2. You would then click on Seedbed 2. Next, you would look at your operation plan, and that will tell you what particular lesson you are teaching that day. So let's say, for example, it is Lesson 3. You will click on Lesson 3. Now we can see a list of folders. We have an answer key for the lesson. So if we click on that, we can see there is a PDF of the lesson with all the answers if we felt that we needed that. If you feel you need it, you would print this off and use it when necessary during class. There is also a folder for a character lesson guide. For circle time, you will see the PowerPoint required for you to teach circle time that day. So again, to use it, just click on it. In a new tab, the PowerPoint will open. Going back, we can keep going through all the separate folders. We have flashcards you can print out if need be. Anything that students require, such as a quiz, will be in the For Students folder, and the speaking goals required for their CTP speaking activities will be in this folder. Again, mostly in a PDF format. Now this will of course differ from level to level, what is in each folder. On days that you do have something in the For Students folder, So for example, on lesson 4, we will have a chunk quiz in Seed. I go into For Students and I find their chunk quiz. Now try, if possible, to use this option where there are 2 quizzes per page, thus saving paper. All you will need to do is cut down the middle to split it in 2. And how many do you need to print? How many students are in your class? How do you know that? You can check on LMS on the attendance page or potentially on your schedule next to the class. Some of the materials you will just want to open so you can show them visually to the students. But others, such as speaking goals, you could click on download up here. Once downloaded, this will allow you to open the page within the April Gate program, thus making it easier for you to work with the students, and you can treat it then like any other page of April Gate. We can also look for the character lesson guide. When you open the character lesson guide, you will see a brief introduction to the lesson and what traits are evident within the story. So for example, in this Seed lesson, it says there is curiosity and self-control and gives you some suggested questions you can ask about these traits. There is also a space for you to write any additional questions you may want to ask the class about the 7 traits in general or these particular traits which are suggested. These questions may be to help students understand the traits or so they can relate them to the students' lives. Now there is another folder you may want to access within SharePoint called Teacher Resources. The easiest way to find this is simply to go to the search bar and type in Teacher Resources. You'll then click on the first option that comes up and it will take you to the main page here. What can you access within Teacher Resources? In the Class Structures and Operation Plans folder, it contains the Class Structures and Operation Plans. Now you may need to print these off to go on the pinboard within your classroom, or they may already be there. But if you need a new set, this is where you would find them, again in PDF format. We also then have the operation plan specific to Ho Chi Minh in PDF format for you to print out and put on your pinboard or keep a copy at home. There is also a folder exactly the same for Hanoi. There is also a folder called CTP Resources. If you click on this and look for the CTP Quality Guidelines, this is going to show you all of the CTP content that you do in your final day's training with your initial trainer. You can open this and refer back to it for advice on how to edit your CTP or what the expectations are of a CTP. There is also a folder called Character Growth Cards. Within this, there are 2 PDFs. The first one gives you suggested behaviors and actions you can do to help demonstrate all of the 7 traits. The next PDF shows you examples you can expect from students if they are displaying particular traits, and this will help you grade them on LMS. The Student Management folder will also come in very handy. Within this, there are several things you may want to use. In training, you will have been shown a discipline checklist, which is what you use if you are needing to send a student out of class for 5 minutes. This will help you communicate with a CM. Once you get to your centre, you can print off some of these and again put them on your classroom pinboard so they are easy to use if needed. You can also find letters of concern within here. There are 4 examples of letters of concern for behaviour, if students are not completing e-learning, if they are not completing their homework, or if they are unprepared for class. You would use a letter of concern if there have been several poor examples of any of these situations and you want to communicate with the parents in order to help the student improve. Again, you can print off several examples of these when you get to your centre and have them in your classroom desk, ready to use when required. All you do is print off the copies and in the blank spaces fill in the student's name, pass to the CM, and they will pass to the parents. Finally, in the Teacher Resources folder, within the Cooperative Learning folder, there's something called the Classroom Preparation Guide. Certainly when starting to teach with APACS, this will be something that can come in really helpful. You can plan out what you are doing that day, write in what the lesson is, what your objectives are in terms of overall theme and content, and what character strengths, what 7 traits you want to concentrate on that day. You see here that it's separated into little segments of the lesson, which will also serve as reminders for things you might want to introduce. Anything you're going to use to help provide background knowledge, anything from past learning, any organisation or materials you will use within the class, any roles or routines you want to use that day. If this is a time where you've maybe got CTP speaking activity, what activity do you plan to do? What materials do you need? Anything like that. What reflection maybe you will do at the end of the class with the students is all in here. So I would encourage you to also use this, certainly at the beginning of your time teaching with APACS. That's your introduction into SharePoint. If you do have any questions, please get in touch.